We all have our moments we'd rather forget and pretend like we've always handled ourselves with grace and poise. But let's face it, that's so not real life, especially for someone like myself who has been, and always will be a grade A dork. Don't believe me? Here are some things that I've done that I may or may not have wanted to bury myself in a mountain and never come back afterwards. Note, these are in no particular order of cringe whatsoever. Hello my fluffs, Lonnie your Fluff Dragon Overlord here with your weekly character creations and speed art. If you like what you see, help me to continue making this content for free by hitting that subscribe button and ringing that notification bell. Normal cheering wasn't good enough. Actually, nothing normal was good enough for me. You had a Labrador growing up? I wanted a Chinese crested. You like chocolate ice cream? Throw some cherries in there for good measure. T-shirt and jeans? Heck no! I'd wear bell-bottoms or a shirt that vaguely resembled a Jedi's robe. I think I even begged my mom for a full-on cloak once. So yeah, no way when my friends and I succeeded at something was I going to settle for a simple yay or good job everyone. Nah, what I did came from a little game called Spyro the Dragon. I think the specific enemy's name is the Slap Happy Monk or something like that. You know how there's a ray in the Dreamweaver's world that makes certain baddies giant size and impossible to beat? This guy was one of them, and when he was a giant, he'd tease you by flailing around like this. Now, easily entertained teeny bopper me thought this was hilarious. So every time my brother beat up a baddie on that game, I'd copy that baddie's teasing as a way of saying, "That all you got, brah?" He and the rest of my siblings got a kick out of it, so I thought I'd try it with my peers, trying to get a laugh like you do. So, after successfully writing a game called Human Knot, I cheered for them in this manner. Dead silence. Legit, everyone just stared at me for a solid minute. Not exactly the reaction I'd expected, so I tried explaining the backstory behind it, and at this point my brother, who was with me, was trying desperately to not be noticed and sat there with an expression that said, "I don't know this person, please someone kill me now." Still nothing. Then someone changed the subject and we moved on. Yeah, that was how I learned that not everyone is as easily entertained as I am, and how some jokes are just not meant for certain audiences. Speaking of never settling for normal, I hated the English language. I wanted desperately to speak something cool, like Mandarin or Swahili or Greek, or the ultimate rarest of rare languages, Latin. I studied the ever-living crap out of Latin. One time I remember reading an article on Latin pronunciation and I found out that we had been saying a lot of Latin names wrong. Since Latin doesn't ever use the letter K, all of the C's are hard C's. This means that Scipio is actually Scipio, and Cicero is actually Cicero, etc. All well and good, right? Sure. Until you start calling Little Caesars Little Caesars. Etc. is actually et cetera, and vice versa, vice versa. It drove my friends and family up a freaking wall. Legit, no one knew what the heck I was saying or referring to. Yeah, it was a mess. And a lesson that being a good communicator is much more important than being correct. While I was in that Latin phase, well, y'all already heard my story about my horrible ex-boyfriend and how I really stunk at flirting then. It was literally even worse with my first boyfriend. I had a crush on this guy for ages, but my parents had a strict rule about not exclusively dating someone until I was 18. Group dates were okay. So I had to wait until I was in college for anything to happen. It was sheer luck that I got to go to the same college as this guy. So we were randomly in the library together, and I see the seat next to him is empty. As nonchalantly as I could, with my heart racing at about 10 million beats per second, sweat dripping from every pore, and feeling the ever-dreaded anxiety gas building up, I took that seat and started studying. Well, I say studying, but I was actually staring at one page, not making any kind of sense from it, while simultaneously trying and not trying to catch this dude's eye. Yeah, I was a mess. I'm shocked this dude did not run away. Anyway, he got up to grab a drink or go to the bathroom or something, and I grabbed Google Translate and as fast as I could to write down the phrase carpe manu in Latin, which means seize the hand. I think I was going for a Little Mermaid vibe. I snuck it onto his laptop's keyboard. He notices it, stares at it for a second, asks, "Who put this here?" Trying not to giggle like an idiot and sweating profusely at this point, I shrug my shoulders and go back to pretending to read my book. The guy shrugs, put the paper down, and continues studying like nothing happened. Freaking 3 hours pass by, and he hasn't pursued the mystery any further. So I clear my throat and say, "Hey, I wonder what that message means." "Huh? What?" "That note you got. I wonder what it means." "Dunno." "I could, translate it for you if you want." He shrugs. "Sure." I enter the phrase into Translate again, like I didn't know exactly what the note said, and tell him, "Huh." Nothing. So I go back to pretending to read for the entire rest of the day. It wasn't until a few nights later when me and my roommates invited him and his roommates to go to a swing dancing class together that I actually told him what had happened. He was really sweet about it, and we did end up dating for a bit, but good heavens, I was never that convoluted again. With this exact same guy, by the way, we were homeschooled in the same group. All of us older kids were out for lunch before heading back to our class at his place, which was a farm, mind you. They had a pig, goats, chickens, ducks, you name it. We were sitting on a fence in their yard, all of us friends talking and having a good time, until class was about to start again. So I'm one of the first to get off the fence. It really wasn't that comfortable, honestly, and start running in. I had only taken a few steps when I hear my friends shouting at and running towards me. I turn around and I feel a rather distinct breeze right across my butt cheek. I feel behind me and touch nothing but skin. It was only 40 degrees outside, but it suddenly felt like the middle of July. My girlfriends ran towards me, helped me take off my sweater and tie it around my waist. The worst part? The guy I'd told you about earlier, the one I'd had a crush on for forever, had seen the whole thing. How could I tell? His ears were pinker than my frozen butt cheeks. Of course, these are just a small sampling of embarrassing stories I could tell you. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to hear more or if you relate to any of these dorky antics, because it would be amazing to know I wasn't alone. A very special thank you to my patrons, especially Shadow Symbiote, Shepherd Shield, Gigabit the Saved Gamer, Queen Haiku, Thundernote the Change Pony, and Sharpwit for their generosity and epicosity in supporting this channel. If you would like to join my private Discord server, get featured in my videos, join my monthly livestream, get free art, and a bunch of other awesome stuff, click the link in the description below. Stay fluffy, my friends. See you next time.